Shalom, when the Surah of Souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash, double honors to the Apostle, great Millstone, and honors to brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. His untrue name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning thou, and Sham meaning names, Yahweh, the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, not got much. This is a saying that it's been going around in regards to this whole, Israel-Palestine situation, right? Where basically you had these, you basically had these Amalekites basically just like killing off entire families to the end where like you will just have a child and they've got no family. So there is this acronym, right? It says the plight of Gaza's WCNSFs, right? Wounded child, no surviving family, right? It's a chilling acronym used by aid workers, reflects the reality of a conflict in which 40% of casualties are believed to be minors, right? And this is, I mean, and this once again goes into just the BSness of E, and why East was the damn devil, because in the same breath he'll then tell you that basically the population is basically majority children, like people under the age of 18, right? It's like, and in fact, in another tab, I'll what you call it, I'll look it up, right? But when you look at that land, it's majority children, right? So when you're when you're hearing numbers about what do you call it? Well, yeah, when you're hearing numbers about how many people have died, the majority of the people are children, and that's effectively what these these devils are doing. Okay, just straight up killing children, man. Let me just, like I said, I'm trying to yeah, it says the Gaza Strip has quite a young population with most inhabitants under 15 years old, right? So let me go into this and bring this to this tab. And of course, I hate when it does that because it showed me and then now it doesn't want to show me. There we go. No, got that. So I'm gonna bring it in, move to another tab. There we go. Right. So, I mean, okay, it looks like this is, I don't know when they had this number going, right? But it's the population. The Gaza Strip has quite a young population with that, and most inhabitants under 15 years old. So most, right? So leading age group, right, under 19 years old. Right, so that basically means you can effectively assume that when you hear lots of people, like 100 people have died, that 50 of them were children, more than 50 of them were children, okay? Because that's just the demographic of the country. Right, it's children between 5 and 9 with the largest population. So, children between 5 and 9, right, totaling just over 300,000 people, while declining over the years. The fertility rate in Gaza is still relatively high. It was reported at 6.2 children per woman in the early 2000s, had fallen to 3.38. Right, so when you hear a house has been blown up, you can assume that that's in that house that's like is per child with that per fertility rate, yeah, per children per woman. So when you hear one house with a married couple with children has been blown up, you can assume there were three children in that house, right? Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that, right? But once again, just showing you to that this man is slick with his words, right? He likes to under when it's him under the microscope, he likes to undersell the issues, right? Let me grab this real quick, right? It says Psalms 58. Start from 3. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that's one of the things that the English language allows you to do, right? It allows you to hide behind fanciful words. It allows you to hide behind what's this term apostles use this a lot, plausible deniability, right? Because they can say, oh, that's not exactly what we said. In fact, no, but to be fair, here they just straight up said, oh no, they can say, oh, but we said we believed that, if we knew it was more, then we would have said it was more. Okay, but that's this devil for you. So their poison is like the poison of the serpent. Their death are like the death. They are like the death adder that stoppeth her ear, right? So once again, whenever you hear about this conflict, that's one of the things that one has to keep in mind. Like, yeah, we gotta keep it in mind. Okay. So yeah, man, this man's just the devil, right? So like I said, I ain't got much, but definitely have to bring this one. Now it's Psalms 140, right? This is deliver me, O Lord, Yahweh. This is from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man, right? And this man is violent to the end that he'll just keep, kill, destroy. I mean, look at this destroy, and then this is probably this. To be fair, is like a good bit of destruction, if you will, right? You see some of the other landscapes where it just looks like, it just looks like mass destruction. Okay, but this is the same guy that's gonna go around and kill, however many million Iraqis under the guise of weapons of mass destruction, right? This man has just been pummeling this land. This is another thing, right? When we look at this picture, right, if this is a house, we got to assume that there are people buried in this. There are people buried in this, so that means this whole area stinks, right? They may have got to a point where they're just used to the smell now, right? This whole area, if this whole area will likely stink like hell, man, right? But that's this devil for you. He doesn't care, right? Spilling blood is nothing to him. That's why it says in Ezekiel the 35th chapter, right? Sith, thou hast not hated blood, right? Blood shall pursue thee. And man, these nations, they're gonna have Esau in the kingdom, man, right? They're gonna be kicking this devil up in the ass, man, right? Because this is his legacy. And mind you, this is what's just been reported, right? Look, think about all of the different atrocities that this man has committed in places where nobody knows, where it ain't documented, right? Like for instance, I think about what was it? Yeah, it's just a film, but in for instance, in Iron Man, where you're just having like black ops happening in some remote part of a country somewhere, but that actually happens, okay. With carry on, it says, which imagine mischief, Psalms 140 and 2, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, continually are they gathered together for war, right? And that's the nature of this Edomite. He can't help himself, right? That's why his blessing was what it was, right? His blessing was that sword. You read, was it Genesis 27, right? You read also Revelation 6 and 4 speaks about how, in fact, let me grab that real quick. This is Revelation 6 and 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, right? Representing Esau, right? Esau is Edom, right? Red. It says, and power was given to him that sat there and to take peace from the earth. And that's what this man has done, man. You look at the precept says, the hammer of the whole earth, right? The oppressor, right? That's what this man does. He just goes around oppressing and hammering. And the worst thing is everyone knows it's about the natural resources. Everyone knows it's about the land, right? Everyone knows that he's just coveting, right? The scriptures speak about that also. Right? This is we'll come back to Revelations in Micah 2, right? Point on 1 is in 2, start from the top. Says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, right? Because this would have been a plan, right? This would have been a plan, and that's ultimately part of a bigger plan, right? It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, right? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? So the Lord has given this man dominion over this earth, right? And he's proven himself to be the worst ruler, right? He will like to rewrite history and make himself appear to be a aristocrat, which I believe means best to rule, right? But he's the complete opposite of that, right? Let me look at the antonym, right, of aristocrat. Let me see. Antonym basically being opposite, synonym being the same, antonym being the opposite, right? But now it's just giving me synonyms, right? But yeah, he's the opposite of the best to rule. He's the worst to rule, okay? So it goes on. It says, it says verse 2, it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. And that's what you have been seeing, which is why you now see that they're starting to advertise, houses and basically new builds out there in basically part of the land where they're basically going to destroy, right? In the Gaza Strip, right? That they're bombing it and everything like that, and then they're basically advertising that they're gonna build new builds there, right? It says and house and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, right? So just going around just doing the most, right? Back in Revelation 6 and 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, there was given unto him a great sword, which that ultimate great sword is that ICBM nuclear missile, which will be used, right? The Lord's going to put the spirit, right, and whoever's leading Russia, whether it be Putin, right, but also the allies, America's allies, to shoot. Right, it says, what does the scripture say in Jeremiah? Right, shoot at her, spare no arrows, right? So basically, shoot at her and destroy that land, right? Now, as a memorial of, like, look, this is what happens when you live wickedly, right? And this is an example of Esau's wickedness because he has enough, right? Esau, the Lord gave Esau dominion over the entire world, but it's never enough for him. Okay, that's what it says in Habakkuk, the second chapter, that he is as death and cannot be satisfied. There's no satisfying this devil, right? Which is why he just has to be taken out. He's like a cancer, right? That's what do they say about cancer? You just gotta cut it out, right? This is Numbers 35 and 33. It says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land." Right? And all this man has been doing over there, right, is spilling blood, right? All throughout the world, he's just been spilling blood, right? We start off primarily with the blood of the children of Israel over there in the land of America, right? So much blood, such that the Most High just said, look, man, for all the blood that's been spilled therein, for all the wickedness that's been done therein, just undo it, right? I.e., just undo America, right? Control A, Alt Delete, a hard refresh, but it ain't never gonna be rebuilt. It's just, like, for instance, you get a virus on your computer and you get to a point where you just gotta delete everything, right? And sometimes a computer gets so fucked, you just gotta chuck it out, and that's America. America's just gonna get chucked out, right? And thus saith the Lord, right? Because there's a lot of blood that has been spilled, once again, primarily of the children of Israel. But throughout the whole world, this man has just been going around spilling blood, right? And especially when you consider that the Israelites are scattered all over, amongst that is Israelite blood that's been spilled. Okay. It says, let me see. We've got that. Let me grab this. James 2:13. For ye shall have judgment without mercy, that hath showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. Right. And always we always with all of these precepts claim and focus mostly on the children of Israel, right? Because that's the other nations are as a heap, drop of a bucket. Like, they don't mean anything, right? But this devil has been a menace to society, right? To all society, right? Started off against the children of Israel, of all these heathen nations. Right? He's just been a menace. You look at his history. You look at the things that they tried to hide, right? But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is being brought to light, right? That shameful spewing, right? No matter what peoples this devil encountered, he's done wickedness to them. Okay, which one I'm just gonna end with this. I was gonna go a bit long. We're just gonna end with this. Right? It says Isaiah 14:6 is he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. And that's this devil, right? Just constantly doing it. No respite. If it's not this group of people, it's that group of people. Right, and mind you, let's be real. This whole situation, this is just like the designer situation, if you will, right? But there's situations happening all over the world, right, by the hand of this devil that doesn't get reported, right? But just because it's not being reported doesn't mean it ain't happening, man. Okay. Let me read that again. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted. Right, so that's Esau's future persecution, right? And a worse for him, right? He's going to be persecuted by a group of people, right, that are going to have spiritual power, right? So he's going to be doubly fucked, right? Because we're going to have that spiritual power, right? And what does the scripture say? You shall meditate terrors. Thine heart shall meditate terrors. Right, because we think we're angry now, man. Hey, what does it say in Ezekiel 25:12? Right, the Lord is gonna, or maybe it's a few verses down, but from Ezekiel 25:12, the Lord is gonna put His anger on us because we ain't angry enough. See, we're only going off of what we read in the history books, what gets depicted on film, right? But the Lord is gonna allow us to remember everything, right? Yeah, because we may see something where it's like, yo, that's fucked. Right, like for instance, even as I'm saying this, like one of the things these Edomites used to do, right? They used to, which let's say had a husband and a wife, right? This Edomite will just come in the midst in the bedroom, right, and just rape your wife in front of you, man, right? Now imagine the anger, right? You can, I mean, right now, imagine we can. That's what we can do. Imagine it, right? But imagine there was an individual that there were many Jakes that felt that, and they couldn't do nothing, right? But the Lord is gonna allow us, right, to have our feet on this devil's necks, man, right? So, hey, he's got a lot coming for him, right? For all the wickedness he's done, once again, primarily to the children of Israel, but then also to these heathens. And that's what it says, and I'll read it again and I'll finish it this time. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth, right? So imagine someone who's screaming out for help and everyone's just watching, right? Everyone's just watching, not saying anything, in fact smiling, happy, like yeah, get him, right? That's what is waiting for you, Edomites. Persecution, real oppression. Okay. So as always, Lord's what I was edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.